Hey everybody. Uh-oh. Doug, I just realized as the second I started the show that my name says Doug Hay under it. I didn't adjust that. And I don't think I can change that on the fly. I don't really know. So we may just be stuck with that for the duration of the show. But anyway, other than that, it's a good Tuesday. Well, I shouldn't say that. Not a normal Tuesday. Doug totally forgot the show time, so he's kind of winging it. We are 2 hours earlier today than we usually are. So if you were just tuning in for the first time because you're getting an odd notification at an odd time, you can know that this is usually at 11 a.m. So usually you won't be able to watch it if you happen to be able to today. But there's a podcast. You can go get that. It's called The Plant-Based Morning Show. All right, adding Doug in on Instagram here. Instagram sort of known as the inferior platform where we stream the show. Hey, Doug, how's it going?
Hey, Matt. It's going okay. I'm pretty off today.
Yeah, had a nice relaxing morning, just chilling out, thinking you had nothing to do.
Yeah. No. The cold season or something has been passing through our house the last 24 hours, and
Oh my God.
Tuesday mornings are normally my big run day and soak day, and decided to sleep in because I wasn't feeling great. And then I would get logged into my computer, start working, and you're like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, I missed it. I forgot everything." So just
Wow.
having a day, I'm having one of those days.
Yeah. So had you gone for your run, had you not been feeling a little under the weather and needing to sleep in, you might have missed the show entirely. Is that right? You could
Oh
have
no, I'm
just
I'm I'm back. I'm back at 6:30 or
okay.
6:45.
All
Yeah.
right. Good.
Yeah.
Uh all right. Good. Well, yeah, sorry to hear about the cold. That's not good. I hate not hate. Not good memories of constantly being sick when the kids were those ages.
Oh my God.
So,
No, it's terrible. We made it 3 weeks. 3 weeks is the longest streak we've had, I think, all school year long.
wow.
But
That's funny.
yeah.
Uh Yeah, we're like the opposite now. Although we do get sick a little bit. I was just talking the other day with someone, and I was saying maybe like with the COVID quarantine that it sort of killed all other viruses because we haven't been sick
Oh no,
in
I think it's
years.
the opposite.
Right. So that's what people said. They said no, people still get sick a whole lot. Um,
Yeah.
so I don't know. We've
I,
just been on a good run. Maybe because one kid is homeschooled and the other is a little older now. I don't know.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think. Well, I don't know. The homeschooling, I'm sure helps because it's really if it's one kid, if it's not one kid, it's the other kid has something going through their classroom, and then they just bring it and
Hmm.
they swap it back and forth. And like my youngest, who's 2, is in preschool, and they're always sick. I mean, there's just constantly something going through
Right.
the preschool.
All right. Well, anyway, strange time for the show. Like I said, this is 2 hours earlier than usual. Usually it's 11 a.m. Eastern. If you are on Instagram, I'm pinning right now the comment that gives you the URL for the YouTube link, which is better. The sound is better, and lots of other reasons to go over there instead. If you're on YouTube, then hello. It looks like it's a smaller crowd today, as expected, because it's not the usual time. But anyway, let's see, Doug. I had something to talk about before. Oh, you know what? I couldn't find any questions today in our
Yeah.
Discord. Like to fun. I think we do have a couple leftovers up there that we meant to get to, but it's almost as if we aren't like respected authorities in the niche or something because there aren't that many like questions. Ask Matt and Doug questions.
No one really wants to ask us anything. So.
I'm starting to come to that conclusion. I don't know. It's strange, but
Maybe we should have like a Ask Mr. Jeffrey
yeah,
segment or something.
that is what we should have.
That's funny.
Uh,
No, it's yeah. So if you have any questions for us, or just questions you think it'd be fun for us to discuss, whether you think we're going to be experts on the topic or not, definitely add those into the Discord, and we'll continue that segment going. Matt, I got a question for you. It's 9
okay.
a.m. instead of 11 a.m. Are
Yeah.
you drinking coffee right now? Are you have you had
No,
breakfast
I'm,
yet?
I'm
What's going on with your routine?
I got up a little earlier than I usually would, set an alarm to make sure I was up by 7:15 so I could do the show prep. Made my coffee, had it then, all done, finished. I even had a bagel already. I had an everything bagel, which I
Oh,
don't usually have, but it was just I think the early morning put me in the mood, put me off my routine, and I don't know, just ate a little less healthy breakfast than usual. But bagel with hummus, not the worst thing in the world.
no. Well, my secret is exposed. In the morning I drink out of my little Yeti here
Look at that.
instead of a fancy cup. I
Ah,
bring out the fancy mug for
right.
for the
It's
show.
on the show.
For the
Okay.
show, I didn't have time to prep for it. So
Wow. Okay. Good. Yeah, well, I mean, you are a champion of small businesses and artisans and local things like that, and local bank runs. You yesterday advised people to go to the local branch to withdraw their money and put it into Bitcoin rather than
that is
Bank of
definitely
America.
not true. No, 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 no. That is not true at all. Oh my
Anyway,
god,
that
you're
was a
the
good
worst.
ending. It was a good ending to the show. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
All right. Well, we've got I got a jam-packed weather report today, and then
Okay.
two interesting articles to discuss. One of which is an expansion of weather report, but I'm gonna jump into that unless anything else, any sort of more introductory banter. Anything else from you, Doug? Any other news or updates or food, fitness, anything?
No, I don't think so. I think let's just jump right into the weather report.
Okay, here we go.
The weather report.
I've been following this one kind of closely. Somehow I missed, probably from my sickness last week, but I missed that that Miyoko Shiner has countersued. We knew it was coming, but she has officially countersued vegan dairy company Miyokos PBC. I didn't know they were called vegan dairy companies, but that's what they're calling it. Miyokos PBC, the official name of it, alleging she was dismissed in retaliation for her claims of gender discrimination. So again, we knew that was kind of part of all this, but I didn't know that was the sort of official stance that she was dismissed in retaliation for kind of raising the alarm bells or whatever and saying this is a problem here. She filed in the Northern District for the state of California and responded first of all to their claims that she had absconded with trade secrets. Her countersuit includes 6 counterclaims, including failure to prevent discrimination, retaliation, wrongful termination in violation of public policy, violation of right to publicity, and misappropriation of name and likeness. She claims she was dismissed after, as CEO, after making official complaints about COO Renee Weber, who it turns out is a longtime dairy guy, real traditional dairy guy, and I believe he took the CEO job, which we'll get into later on in the show in more depth. But anyway, she said he singled out and openly denigrated women, especially her, making it impossible to continue to effectively do her job. So that one, like I said, we sort of knew some of this stuff was coming, or at the heart of it.
Yeah.
Now I got those details. So we'll get into that in a bit more. In rosier news, U.S. Senator Cory Booker has tried and endorsed cell-based chicken, saying it, quote, tastes phenomenal. This was the first time he'd eaten meat since the 1990s. I don't know if he's vegan or vegetarian, Doug. Is he vegan? Do you know?
He is vegan. I actually have
Okay.
some insight on this, so you can finish
yeah?
it up. Yeah.
Okay, well, he went to Eat Just, which is the maker of Just Eggs, or Just Egg, I guess it's called. And they're already making cultivated meat, selling it in Singapore. Did that in San Francisco earlier this month. We got to get that invite somehow. I don't know what we need to do, but somehow, please, if you own a cultivated meat company, which I'm sure 2 people in the world do, and you listen to the show, come on, we want to come. We'll give you. I mean, we can be. I don't know. We're probably more influencers than Cory Booker, right?
From U.S. Senator and former presidential candidate Cory Booker. I'm a town elder, right, or whatever you want to call me every day. So
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, surely we can get the invite here if we make it known that we would do it. So I actually knew about this because he was interviewed on a podcast that I listened to, which is called. I am totally blanking on it. Oh my god, why am I blanking on this podcast? Listen to it every week. Anyway, he was interviewed on the podcast, and he was doing a taste test of with the host of a bunch of like vegan milkshakes and burgers and things like that, and they were kind of rating them on the scale of like a good replacement, or you wouldn't be able to tell the difference to kind of junky. And he was saying that he had just, like, right before the interview, he had just had his first meat since the 90s. Because of the cell-based meat, and he was all about it, thinking it was the future of the meat industry. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool.
It's people. It's interesting to me already. It's not that many, but I just am seeing people who are vegans who are choosing this, right? We've seen some survey results saying they wouldn't, eat this. So vegans might not eat this. Some meat eaters might not eat this. But I don't see a whole lot of people like hesitant to try it just because they're vegan and saying this is meat. I'm against this. Now it might be happening and we just don't hear about it. But someone like this politician in the public eye, this could. I don't know. I would think there'd be some fear that vegans would suddenly say, "Hey, he's no longer one of us because he's now eating cultivated meat."
Right.
But no, it seems like it's not really that big of an issue.
I mean, right. We were seeing articles on plant-based news and veg news and all these people kind of trying it.
Yeah.
Getting the invite. And I haven't heard any real backlash. The podcast is Pod Save America, by the way. It was a fun interview, fun episode.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Oatly, the maker of these stupid ads that nobody likes, their shares have seen a boost following the publication of the company's fourth quarter and full year financial results for 2022. Q4 revenues reached $211.7 million, 13.9% increase, and followed an increase in sales volume in China after the easing of lockdown restrictions. They expect further revenue growth of 23 to 28% in 2023. Unfortunately, they still lost $347.4 million last year, but expects to achieve positive, positive profit, I guess, by 2024. So,
how much did they lose?
$350 million. Yeah.
What? Oh my gosh!
I guess that's what it takes to like launch a, I don't know, be in grocery stores and all that.
Whoa!
And fairly new company.
That is crazy.
Yeah, but I guess their investors don't care about that yet. They just want to see adoption.
Yeah.
And they know if they can get that, they'll be poised to start profiting on it, and maybe as soon as next year. Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of good. I saw they had earlier in the year we reported they had laid off 19% of their employees, but I guess things aren't as bad as they seem. Maybe that's partly how they managed to turn things around. I don't know. Anyway, good. Vegan fried chicken brand VFC has launched its crispy chicken tenders at 600 pubs owned by UK company Marston. So this is UK only before we get too excited here, Doug. But they're said to be ideal for dunking and dipping. I didn't know like there were pub chains. I guess it makes sense if your country and culture is based on the pub. Of course, people are going to, enterprising people will make a chain out of that pub. But I guess if you're in the UK, you can go to pub chains. I'd like to go to a nice pub chain. Is that? I mean, do we have the equivalent here? Is that what Applebee's is?
I mean, I would say that like Applebee's or Buffalo Wild Wings or McAdoo's or I don't know. There's
what about like Shenanigans? Aren't there those Irish, like literally our Irish pub?
Yeah,
places?
I mean, there are definitely pub chains in America.
I just don't. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, what about the place that I went to last weekend? Yard House. That's a pub chain, right?
Yeah, maybe. I kind of thought pub was like a smaller, more intimate, like an Irish bar. I just think of that as a pub. So, but I'm probably totally wrong. That's just my like romanticized vision of what pub is. Perhaps those are all pubs. So that's kind of cool. I mean, that's a lot of right. That's a mainstream adoption case of plant meat. So I like that. Okay, lost my weather report here while I was Googling shenanigans, and now I'm back for one more. Pete's coffee chain, a lot like Starbucks. Seems like it's more West Coast than others. Few airports here have it. Has revealed its spring menu for 2023, focused on plant-based ingredients. That means lavender vanilla almond latte and lavender cold brew oat latte. So it sounds like it's lavender focused more than plant-based. And along with the popular option that was previously off menu, the vanilla almond matcha latte. So this is weird stuff. This isn't just regular coffee. Plant-based Mediterranean flatbread wrap will return for 2023, and they are dropping their surcharge on plant-based milks during April to celebrate Earth Month. They said that. What's
I don't know. They're dropping the like 25-cent surcharge for 1 month to celebrate Earth Month. Oh, come on.
Well, I mean, it's probably kind of a cash cow, no pun intended, because 21% of beverages it sells are now customized with plant-based milks. This is what I was thinking about. This. I was thinking Starbucks doesn't want to drop that upcharge. Almost seems like, well, it's an inconvenience to serve the plant milk, so we have to charge extra for it. But like, the amount of drinks that are now ordered with plant milks to drop, I don't know what it is, 80 cents, 70 cents, maybe it's only a quarter, I don't know. That's like a huge, right? If the amount of profit on a typical cup of coffee, I have no idea what it is, but if it's like 50 cents, I don't know, and then you're dropping the huge upcharge, that's a big profit mover. So maybe it's not so much a political thing and more of a business thing. But anyway, hopefully this is
They
successful.
should
And
upcharge the cow milk, though. I mean, still 80% of the coffee or the coffee
right,
being
but people
drunk.
won't stand for that. They're not going to stand for an upcharge on what they're used to paying. But the plant meat people were used to paying this extra, so now that it's mainstream, they don't want to drop it.
I don't know. Just don't. I don't like it.
Nope,
Not here for it.
That's why you advocate for the local shops.
That's right.
Starbucks.
They don't upcharge me.
Will you publicly call for a boycott of Black Mountain Starbucks from all citizens?
No, I will not do that.
No?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, we know who you are then, Doug.
Oh, Matt, you're trying aggressively to not get me reelected next time.
Are you running for reelection? I meant to ask this.
Oh, I don't know. I don't
is
know.
Is it a 4-year term like president?
It's 4-year term.
Okay.
So
Max of 2 terms?
No max. I can keep going as long as I want. But
Wow.
or as long as I got voted, I guess.
Right.
Elected.
Okay. Good. Will you announce it here first when you?
Yeah, I'll announce it here first.
Okay.
This will be the first place I announce. Yep.
We'll break news for the first time ever. We'll have a actual
late breaking news. It has nothing to do with the vegan diet. Although who knows? Maybe I'll use it as an opportunity to call for the Black Mountain to join the vegan treaty.
Yes, I like it.
Or I did see this is Asheville had the meat out, or is it meat out? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Asheville.
What is it? Remind me what that is again? Is that when the restaurants go vegan? I don't remember.
It's just where like there's a proclamation from the local government to encourage restaurants to have vegan options and people to choose vegan for the day or whatever.
Right. Okay. I think was New York City's meet out the same day? Did they time them all to be the same?
Theirs was the biggest one. We covered it. We talked about it the other day. But Asheville joined that campaign here.
That was March 20th. Okay, so same day. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so we got some comments here. Me Time Plan says Beef O'Brady is a pub chain. I've heard of that.
Is that in the United States?
I've heard of it, so I would assume so.
Well, I mean, that's one of those Irish pub places.
Danielle P says that I get charged $1. Oh my goodness, for plant milk at my local coffee shop, even when I just get a splash. That is pretty. That's crazy. That's a pretty big upcharge right there. Unnecessary. That seems like you got to go to Starbucks.
I feel like the Starbucks charge is like 70 cents. I don't know.
Is it really that big?
I think so. I'm gonna look.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. There's no way that it's costing the business an extra $1 to do that.
No, definitely not.
Aisha says I'm a man of the people. That's right. That's what I keep telling Matt. And then Steven says the campaign starts here. Some people like this time. Maybe it's good to mix it up every now and then. Danielle P says, good morning. Nice and early show. DeLon 036 says, I like this time. So does Bailey Zane.
Okay, good.
Lori Stevens is Team Mioco. We're going to talk more about Mioco here in a minute.
Maybe once a week we should have like a different time show that's like a standing different hour. I don't know. Not a bad idea. Not this early though. I'll tell you that much. Doug forgot the show. That's
At least I was at my desk. I mean, man, what if I was like...
That's true. I know. Starbucks charges 60 cents extra for drinks made with vegan milk.
60 cents. Wow.
60 cents.
That's a lot. I thought it was like 25 cents or something.
Yeah. I mean, think how many milk pours you get out of one, like, I don't know what a half gallon of Oatly costs, but $4 probably. Or maybe it's one. I don't know. But I mean, it's just, it's crazy. It's huge. It's a profit center. They don't want to get rid of that. The more it gets adopted, the better.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they're just making more money. That's a huge line item in there. And their P&L right there. Aaron, your wife says our local coffee shop is 50 cents for almond and soy and 80 cents for oat and macadamia. Man,
Might need to boycott the local shops. Start
my
going to
goodness.
Starbucks.
Yeah. Well, you guys got to all move to Black Mountain. That's where it's at. Free plant milks.
Yeah, is that one of your campaign platform?
That's
Is
yeah. That's our that's actually our Chamber of Commerce has a big campaign right now. It's free plant milks at your local coffee shop.
okay, good. All right, good. Well, thank you for those comments. Yes, Beef O'Brady's I see is a neighborhood started as a neighborhood pub. Now it's a family-friendly sports restaurant. So I guess we've got plenty of pubs in the U.S. that I just wasn't calling pubs. Okay, good. So on to this Miyokos thing. Someone saying who said Team Miyoko? Somebody.
Lori Stevens.
Okay. Well, I'm more on Team Miyoko than I was. I think I was just sort of neutral, absorbing the news. We don't obviously know how much of this is true. That we just have. I mean, some of it we're going to be taking word, but there are several women who are claiming the same thing about the company. I guess before I didn't realize quite how organized it was. I thought it was that Miyoko had been terminated. The company said it was due to her not being the right person. Right, the person who gets it from 0 to 1 is not the person who gets it from 1 to million or whatever number they used. She didn't have experience, perhaps like a 20-year dairy person would, in scaling a company from this level to the next. And that Miyoko was saying, "Oh no, it's because I'm a woman." But that was more of a just sound like everybody's going to point different fingers. But now it sounds like the reason for the termination had to do with her raising the issue, I guess, and saying this guy Weber that he was mistreating women. So anyway, it just I don't know. It sounds like a more I don't know if systemic is the right word here, but I don't know.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
A much larger issue than just time for a CEO to move on. Potentially, at least that's what she's claiming, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. So anyway, so the issue is around this guy, COO Renee Weber, who, as I said before, Shiner said singled out and openly denigrated women, especially her. Apparently, like I said, he had done most of his career in the dairy industry. He'd been VP of operations hired in 2021 as VP of operations. Shiner stated that in her suit that he mansplained to her frequently and spoke to women in a more disrespectful manner than he did his male colleagues. So that's another important thing, and I'm sure the lawyers know this, right? I was thinking because apparently he called some women in the business stupid and terrible, and as I was reading that, I was like, okay, I believe he did that because I think probably every boardroom has people who call everybody that, and it's like I don't know, those aren't. There are many worse things I think you can call someone than those things. I just think that gets called all the time. But it seems to me that there's something more systemic going on, and that they're saying this is more towards women than it is towards men. This is not just one jerk in the boardroom who calls everybody this stuff. So that's kind of interesting. Apparently, they promoted this guy to COO due to the company's concerns that he was a flight risk that they could not afford to lose in order to reach $200 million in sales.
See, that's a problem right there.
Why is that a problem?
Well, I don't know. If the only reason you're getting promoted is because they're afraid you're going to quit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just seems like there's a problem.
Yeah, it could be a problem unless he's that good. And
yeah, maybe he is. Maybe so. But Mr. Weber immediately began to campaign of mainstreaming women who worked at mistreating women who worked at Miyokos, including Miyoko, by excluding them from meetings, denying them information they needed, and berating them publicly and privately, and otherwise making it difficult or impossible for them to do their jobs.
Yes, allegedly, and CEO Lisa Faria. That's never mind. I'm not going to go into that. That sounds like she's from Stray Dog Capital. She's not from Yokos. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. That is the gist of it. They did say at least 8 women have complained about Mr. Weber's rudeness, arrogance, and dismissive attitude. Others were too afraid to complain about him because he wields so much power. And then the last bit of this that was interesting to me is Miyoko also addressed, I mean, there's a lot more. And this article, by the way, is on nosh.com if you want to go see it. I don't know, Doug, do you have it up on the screen?
I don't, just because it's so word heavy, but I will post
Okay.
the link here
Okay.
for people
Well,
to.
nosh.com, Miyoko, you'll probably find the news. But she did address the claims in the initial suit by the company that she was stealing company property or had stolen company property. I guess it says defendant denies. This is from the suit. Defendant denies any theft. Defendant admits that she copied documents that she was entitled to access as a member of the board. Defendant admits to deleting some of those files after she was informed incorrectly that she did not have a right to retain those documents. Moreover, her attorneys assert there were no trade secrets for her to even steal. However, there's video of her carting something out of the company. I don't know where that's addressed here, or that could have been just a video of her carting her things out of the company. We don't know. But there's that, and then this response that defendant denies that the company has any true trade secrets that directly conflicts with her LinkedIn bio. It says her LinkedIn bio that she sparked the rise of the multi-million-dollar plant-based cheese revolution by engineering a proprietary technology for making dairy from plants. So proprietary technology is trade secrets. So that is an interesting contradiction that I think anyone on Team Yoko's gotta consider. Gotta perhaps owes us a response.
What if her trade secrets are just the stuff that she has in her head, like her recipes, that she already knows?
Maybe that could be what they're saying.
At what point is it a trade secret versus just like what
Yeah, that's true. But anything that's in her head, I think, is the company's. At least, well, I don't know. I'm sure they've detailed carefully what is the company's and what isn't. And then there was one more thing. She was also still claiming that they were using her name and likeness on like a food truck that after this is long before we all knew about it, the public knew about it. But there was she had basically submitted some sort of formal request for them to stop doing this after she'd been terminated before it was known. And apparently they didn't. They continued to use it, at least in one instance. So that's another part of this problem, this continuation to use her likeness.
Yeah.
So a lot going on. Juicy story here.
Yeah, the name and likeness stuff is really interesting. It'd be interesting to see, because her pictures on all the packaging and everything, and I'm sure that is somewhere in the agreement of I mean, and they either can do that or can't do that based on whatever she's signed. But and whether maybe if she was wrongfully terminated, does all that get void? Or does the contract get void? And that kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see how all that plays out. But obviously, this is super messy. It's way more complicated than it maybe initially seemed at the top, which is not all that surprising, right? Because why would someone as big as Miyoko and as vital to the brand identity as Miyoko be terminated? Of course, it's going to be messy. As many people are saying here, they're not surprised that they see these allegations against the COO or against some sort of issue around gender equality within the company. So it's all just unfortunate. You just hate to see it. You hate to see, like we've talked about, arguably the biggest vegan, like truly vegan company where they want to be known as a vegan company, getting kind of caught up in this controversy like this.
Yeah, I've thought about this as I was reading that article for the first time, because behind all this is this idea that, like you said, that Miyoko has wanted the company to remain a vegan company and vegan values to be sort of at the core of what they're doing and their advertising and the way they are giving back and all this stuff. But like this Weber guy is a dairy person, right? And like that's just sort of emblematic, I think, of the problem, right? The issue, I should say. It's not necessarily a wrong decision by the company. It depends what you value. But yeah, they're bringing in people who are experienced in the dairy industry, and that's of course going to lead to conflicts if values in the company are still, or the founder wants the values to be vegan. So
right. I mean, the board is making a decision by promoting him because they're afraid to lose them, the board is making a decision that growing the company is more important than the values of the company, which, the board is probably selected to do that, right? I mean, it's in their best interest to grow the company. But, if the CEO, if the employees are focused on the values over profit or over growth, I should say, because I'm sure it's profitable and they're making, good money already. Focused on the values, then that can come in conflict with the growth trajectory, right? And that's where you're going to have conflicts like this between the board and.
Yep, I did see that many of the investors were VCs that are, supposed to be focused on things besides just money. Like one is Stray Dog Capital, whose website says investing in a healthier, humane, and more sustainable future. One of them is Power Plant Ventures, who of course does lots and lots of vegan companies. So there's this balancing act that they play for sure. And clearly,
Right.
when Miyoko brought on funding, she was attempting to get it from these types of sources. But
who would probably respect her vision, right? Or at least in theory.
Right. But then I don't know. Who knows where it went wrong? But it has. So and maybe worst of all is that we lose the best vegan cheese. Their reputation now has all this mess behind it.
Yeah, totally.
And it's a bummer. A nice indicator of that on Veg News today. My favorite headline of the day says, "Soon Daya's vegan cheese will be unrecognizable. Why that's a good thing." And it made me smile because I was like, well, we know that's a good thing because the product is terrible and it's disgusting. And Veg News is saying it; they're just not saying it, which I think is great. And that's a great thing. Right? That product better be unrecognizable if they want to keep competing, because it's plastic basically.
Yeah, I mean, the sad thing is, like, are people going to not choose Miyokos?
Yeah,
because of this. Not. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are kind of boycotting it. Yesterday, someone in the show made a comment about how they had just gotten Miyokos soft cheese or something. Or no, maybe I was in the Discord. I forget what it's called, but like they're like mozzarella liquid cheese. I forget what it's called. Yeah. I'd never heard of it before.
Horrible. No, we have it. It's okay, and we've had it. It's decent.
But and my first thought was, oh wow, Miyokos, they're kind of admitting that they're still buying Miyokos. which we just bought Miyokos butter this week. So I mean, it's not like there's no judgment there, but that was my first thought, was like, there's like the baggage of Miyokos now.
Right.
And that's just too bad, because it is the best vegan cheese available. And and honestly, like Daya, I mean, who owns Daya? Probably some big corporation. And I'm sure that they don't have the values that even current day Miyokos probably has around supporting different things. So by switching over to
sure,
Daya,
Doug, it's owned by Otsuka Pharmaceutical? You sure they don't have all this good values?
Oh my god. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I get my cheese from a pharmaceutical company. But I don't know. It's just unfortunate. But maybe Miyoko can win this. Maybe she'll be involved in the company another way, or maybe this will bring about some sort of systemic change within the company that will make it a better place.
Yeah, good. Well, we'll continue to follow it. Exciting. Some of the most exciting news we get to cover here. So trust me, we'll stay on top of it.
Bianca says that Julie Payetz, who is Rich Roll's wife, right? Mm-hmm. New Memphis Shrimu cheese company is opening soon, and I will buy her cheese over Miyoko's. It's actually even better.
Right.
I believe that. We have her cheese book, and we've made a couple of those cheeses, and they are delicious. They are very good.
I mean, this is probably the best news she could have hoped for, right? I mean, that's like, I mean, because she's sort of poised to be the next Miyoko. Like, she's the only other like big time vegan cheese author I know.
Famous, vegan.
Yeah, and she was like a few years behind Miyoko, and I think did things a little differently.
Sure,
it is good cheese. I've tried it a lot. So I mean, what an opportunity now to like try to be the vegan company that Miyoko's isn't anymore. Not that their food's not vegan, but that they don't uphold these vegan values, or at least they don't appear to be the priorities. So yeah, interesting.
Lori says Streamers is good, but so expensive. Only buy at Christmas.
I've never seen that in the store. I didn't know you could even get it in stores. I thought maybe it was I mean, can you get it in stores, or is it only from the website?
I have no idea. I don't know. I've never had her like packaged cheese before.
No,
I haven't done that.
I haven't either.
We got some comments over on Instagram too. Can't forget about our friends over on Instagram.
I mean, we almost can. If you're on Instagram, go over to YouTube and watch it over there and comment.
Linda Lang says that her cheese is great.
Okay, good to know.
And then C Baldwin 78, totally off topic, but I haven't been able to join in a few weeks. Matt, I have plant-based Reese's peanut butter cups in my freezer for you. I taste tested them, wondering what you've heard about them so far.
So that is Aaron's sister, Colleen. I would love to try those. I've been, now and then when I go in grocery stores or whatever, look for them. I don't know where they're going to be. I think it was Rite Aid that said where they'd have them, but I thought there were other places they'd be. I'm curious, Colleen, where you got them. But I'd love to try them, and I'd love to hear what you think, what your verdict is.
Yeah, how they compare. Do a little taste test.
I don't see how they could possibly be bad, because you've already get like lots and lots of creaminess and richness from the peanut butter. It's not like just changing the milk to oat milk. Even if you say that makes the chocolate not quite as good, which I don't think most people would, readily say. But I would just think the peanut butter flavor is going to mask any difference there is. But I could be wrong. She got them in Hershey. That's right. I forgot Colleen went to Hershey. At the Chocolate World.
Went straight to the source.
There you go. Just to get that. No, it wasn't just get that.
I did. Speaking of blind taste tests, off topic, I did a bourbon taste test with 3 different bourbons of varying price points, like a $20 bourbon, 60, and 120 over the weekend.
Yeah.
And I was very nervous that I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Right. And I did mix up the 20 and the 60, but the 120 was very different and very good. So I don't know. Blind taste tests are really fun. Yeah, I think they kind of put you in this spot, like they take away all your assumptions about drinks and things based on price and everything. I don't know. It's fun.
Yeah, I did. We had some friends, and I did a wine tasting thing where you get 6 bottles. They're blind. They come wrapped, and then each one has like a scoring sheet and then analysis and all this. It's humbling for sure. You can get stuff totally wrong. I've heard a lot of people say that even really good wine tasters, if you chill red wine and you mask the color, what it looks like, so that they can't see it. Yeah. If it's chilled, it's not that easy at all to tell the difference between white and red wine. Certainly some examples.
White and red wine?
Yeah. Like certainly some examples obviously would be, textbook whatevers, and you maybe can tell. But it's like not all that obvious, apparently.
Huh.
In some cases. Yeah, I know. Okay, Colleen says the peanut butter is reminiscent of the original, but the chocolate flavor was underwhelming. Uh-oh, not good. Good chocolate texture, but a little bland. But I'm a dark chocolate fiend. Okay, interesting. I mean, I think a lot of people who are vegans, the target market for this thing probably are kind of more dark chocolate eaters now. That's how I am.
We're kind of stuck with that, right?
Right. So I've definitely gotten used to more intense flavored chocolate than I used to like. So that might be an oversight by Hershey Reeses Company.
We got some before we move on. We got some Srimu clarification here. You can only order online. It's a subscription service, but our new Memphis shop will include wine and cheese cafe. I wonder why she's opening it in Memphis, not LA or something. And then Lori says that you can buy it one time. It's usually a subscription. You can buy it one time at Christmas.
Okay. Interesting. I'll have to give that a try. If the company would like to send any our way, DMs are open. Just Plant-Based Morning Show. Send them over. All right. We got one more to get to today, Doug. It's much lighter for sure. It's from Yahoo Finance. Odd place for it. Apparently, it originally appeared in Fortune, which is another odd place for it. Or maybe it was Forbes. Fortune.com. The headline is experts say the diversity diet of eating 30 plants a week could boost your gut health. Here's how to get started. So it has nothing to do with money. I don't understand at all why it's Fortune and Yahoo Finance. It's features heavily the author Dr. Megan Rossi, author of How to Eat More Plants and Love Your Gut. I don't understand what Dr. Will Bolshevitz, when he wrote his fiber fueled book and then later the fiber fueled cookbook, where as far as I know, he introduced this system of eating, this philosophy of maximizing your variety of plants and giving points. He had a plant point system in there. Here it's the same thing. So I don't know who's she's paying for PR, Dr. Megan Rossi, but Will B ought to go talk to that guy or that girl, whoever's PR is, because I think he invented this, but I didn't see his stuff all over Yahoo, so I don't know what's going on here. Maybe it's that he advocates for vegan, and her stuff has some eggs, and she basically says you don't have to go all the way vegan. Definitely a plant-heavy diet, but maybe that kept. I mean, it does make it harder sometimes to get mainstream coverage. So I don't know.
We have on Compliment, we have a 30 plants tracker, a whole challenge thing you can take on your own. If you Googled lovecompliment.com/30 plants gut health or something like that, it would come up and kind of help you go through this 30 plants per week challenge.
Okay, good. Yeah,
I'll link it out in the Discord.
Okay, please do that. Like I've said before, I like this approach a lot because to me, what was the reason? I think the reason was I think this is so much smarter than there's a current. Well, I guess it's current. It's been a long time. This emphasis on macronutrients, where people want to get, the right amount of carbohydrates, fat, and protein, and you can sort of move past that and say, wait a minute, like this is kind of silly. We probably aren't evolved to really eat that way or count our food that way. And like, you can just get whole foods and eat it that way. The problem is when you just eat whole foods, you can also make the mistake of, not really getting a lot of high nutrient foods. And you can sort of fall into a rut of just eating kind of the same thing because it's easy. And like you eat the same, let's say maybe it's brown rice, tofu, and broccoli. And like, that's your sort of go-to bowl. And you have that all the time. It's a healthy meal on its own. But if that's your only meal or all your meals look a lot like that, which I've definitely fallen into that trap sometimes, then you're missing out on this, all this micronutrient richness. Even though you're getting a lot of micronutrients, you're not getting a variety of them. So this idea of like the thing to count rather than calories or macronutrients is just count the variety of plants. Like that's a really simple thing. Certainly way simpler than going and figuring out how much vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, and all these things you're getting. Instead, count what variety of plants you get. And I think it's a great, simple approach. I love things that are really simple. And this certainly is. Mm-hmm. So let's see. So the book again is called How to Eat More Plants and Love Your Gut. Like I said, Fiber Fueled Cookbook presents a very similar thing. She says here, while it may seem ambitious, the article says, while it may seem ambitious, Rossi recommends aiming for 30 different plants a week from the Super 6. And I wondered, what are the Super 6? They are whole grains, and then it says think, quinoa, rolled oats, and sourdough bread, nuts and seeds, vegetables, fruits, legumes, again, think, beans, and herbs and spices, like cumin, cinnamon, paprika. I've said before, Doug, that I love when articles tell me what to think. They make it really easy for me. In case I didn't know, because I was thinking the wrong thing, they make it very clear what I should think when I read that word that they said. So in this case, thank you, author, for telling me what to think twice.
And it doesn't, but not tell you what to think every time. Sometimes it just lists herbs and spices, cumin, cinnamon, paprika, right? So I'm assuming that those are the only 3 herbs and spices I should use instead of thinking like cumin.
Right. You're right. Yeah. Think would tell you that it could be broader than that. Okay. But anyway, they actually do give a little bit of specifics. Like I heard Will B say, I think I asked him about this maybe. And he said, you can't count the herbs and spices. They're not a whole point. They're, and so he does score each recipe in his book. I don't know if the details of exactly that scoring system, how the things are calculated, is out. But here she actually does give some specifics. And I'm trying to find it in the article, but I think that it was each plant, each thing. Oh, here it is. One plant food gives you 1 plant point, while one herb or spice gives you 1/4 of a plant point. But even coffee counts as a plant. So I don't know. I guess you get a whole point for that coffee. Now you only get it once per week, even if you drink it all day
Right.
long every day.
Right.
But that is a point. And the goal is 30 plant points per week. So yeah, I guess so. There's no reward here for repeating a food. That's the interesting thing about this scoring system. But that's the point,
It's
really.
all
I mean,
about the
that's
diversity, right?
right. Yeah. So, like, if we eat broccoli a whole lot in my family, but only once, would that actually count for anything?
Yeah.
Uh,
But
I
different
like it.
types of beans would, right? I mean,
Different types of beans.
types of,
Yep,
broccoli versus broccolini maybe would be different
for sure.
versus broccoli rabe.
Definitely. They mention a couple examples here in this diversity mindset. Like if you make chili with mixed beans instead of just one kind of bean, for example, you get more points. If you eat
Mm-hmm.
instead of a bowl of strawberries, consider having a cup of mixed berries, which probably gets you 3 points if you have blueberries, raspberries, strawberries in there. Crackers with a bunch of seeds or a handful of nuts counts as so. You can see with those examples that if you try, it wouldn't be very hard, right? Because you can get
Yeah.
a cracker that has 5 seeds on it. I just had everything bagels. Every single thing on there count as a point. I don't know.
Well, how much? So here's the question: how much? Like, does one strawberry count as a point, or do you have to have
I
like a
think.
couple of
I mean,
strawberries?
that's the flip
A
side. If
serving,
you're not
a
going to
serving of a
count,
point?
if you're not going to count my multiple servings of broccoli as more than 1 point, then you can't have it the other way and say no, a little bit doesn't count. It's if you have it, you have it. It's a point.
I guess. Maybe a serving. I would be appropriate,
Maybe a
right?
serving. Maybe a serving should be the limit. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know because then the chili. Now, if you're putting 2 kinds of beans in your chili, you're not going to get a serving of each bean. But they say that's 2 points. It's all about variety.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Appropriately calls out who eats just one strawberry.
right.
You can't. Once you pop one, you can't stop. It's
Yeah,
like
right.
if they're good.
true.
Yeah.
So then they give a bunch of sample meals here, meal ideas for plant diversity. These honestly don't sound nearly as interesting as Will Be's. Breakfast oatmeal, and by the way, non-vegan. I think there is some line about that. I can find that later. But it says oatmeal with bananas and mixed berries, or a smoothie with frozen fruit, probiotic yogurt, and spinach. So I mean, you can easily imagine that a smoothie, if you put bananas, flax seeds, walnuts, strawberries, spinach, you just got 5 of your week's 30 points right there.
Yeah.
But maybe that's not the challenge. The challenge is maybe getting those last 5 because it turns out that you're racking up those points of the same 25 or 20 foods, but getting more than that's hard. A few more examples. Lunch, stuffed pita with falafel, prebiotic yogurt. So they use probiotic yogurt for breakfast and then prebiotic for lunch. Mixed greens and beets. Omelet with eggs, peas, spinach, mushrooms, peppers, feta. This is dinner now. Stir fry with veggies, soba noodles, and soy sauce. Whole wheat pasta with chopped tomatoes and canned lentils, and then so on. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like it. I mean, I think it's in general, a good way to eat. I don't know if it can be all like the only thing you pay attention to, but I do think this is a pretty good thing that most people are kind of sleeping on, including me.
Yeah. I would say, similar to how, if you're trying to, I don't think that measuring your macronutrients all the time is a good idea, but if you're trying to do a little gut check there, especially if you have some sort of fitness goal, that's not a bad thing to do every once in a while. I think that something like this would be a good thing to do every once in a while. Just see how much diversity you really have. If you think you're having a lot, how
Right.
much are you really having? Anne Marie says that she did the tracker from Compliment for 3 weeks. I'm curious how it went, how many you got over that 3-week period. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think like for my experience, because I did it when we put together the tracker, was that it was I got like 20 almost immediately, just like right out of the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was hard to get that last 10 and then I tried to keep going. I think I tried to get like 75 or something just to see how many I could get. But and that, but so it's easy to get the first little bit, and then it becomes more and more difficult after that. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's one of those things. Probably a good gut check every once in a while.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I imagine that is really the role for this sort of thing, and honestly, anything like it. Even counting your protein, right? Like if you're concerned about protein, you don't need to count it every day. You just count it for a week, and then you kind of know what you need to do and what it feels like to eat the right amount of protein. I don't see the line about eating 100% vegan diet in here. Oh, here it is. Meat lovers, don't fret. You don't need to go vegan and eliminate other protein sources from your diet completely. Focusing on a plant-based diet means prioritizing plants at the center of your meals. As much as that sounds like something that we wouldn't like here, I do tend to agree with that. I think that's a message that people can grasp and be willing to try. And probably the best way to get people to eat more plants is to tell them just eat more plants and less meat, but you don't need to stop eating meat because people don't want to hear that typically. There is a comment here that I think is kind of, I mean, most comments on these Yahoo articles are just second only to YouTube comments in terms of dumbness. Not our YouTube comments. Ours are good, but typical YouTube videos are, I mean, the comments are just the lowest of the low. This person, C, says, it won't be long before some study points out that humans evolved to succeed in rather undiversified eco-environments, and that eating too wide a range of foods confuses and weakens the gut biome. Another failure of our industrialized world. First of all, these comments in Yahoo always disagree with the point. If the point is about being vegan or eating plants, their favorite argument is my grandfather ate meat and smoked and whatever, and he lived to be 96. So, you know, how can you explain that if we're supposed to be eating all these plants and be vegan? So they're not the most scientific of responses. This one, who knows how much science there's behind this, but I have thought this before. I think I've had the opinion before that diversity might be overrated. And if you look at the blue zones, there's not a tremendous amount of diversity in all of them. Like I think in Okinawa, I mean, I think they were getting 80% of their calories from sweet potatoes for a while, purple sweet potatoes.
Wow.
I could be wrong about that number, but definitely a large amount of calories were coming from that for some long time period. And yeah, I mean, like we have access to a whole lot more variety than, you know, might be the most natural thing for us, right? Because we get all this food trucked in. We get quinoa from wherever. It came from Incan people, I think. And we get turmeric, and that doesn't necessarily grow where we're here or whatever. So I don't know. I think this is actually a good point. I think certainly most of us get way too little variety, and for the mainstream person, like yes, eating more variety is a good thing. I do wonder where's the limit, and when does it get to be, you know, kind of missing the point.
Well, I mean, I guess my immediate counter is that, you know, we are eating different types of foods, much more processed foods. We're using antibiotics that kill our gut microbiome on a regular basis. We're eating, you know, if you eat meat, you're eating a bunch of antibiotics. And so like that, like it's a different, we have a very different diet than we did when humans were evolving many, many years ago. And so, you know, we kind of have to probably adjust accordingly, right? And add in that diversity and to add in the probiotics and prebiotics that we need to kind of naturally diversify that gut microbiome. No idea. That's not rooted in science. I'm just, that was kind of first thought.
No, I think it's reasonable. Yeah, I mean, I've made that argument too about not about food diversity, but things that say maybe the most natural thing isn't the right thing given the modern world.
Yeah.
So yeah, who knows? But just called out an interesting, intelligent comment on Yahoo, and I think that's noteworthy. Okay, so that's that. That's the article. I still haven't really given this like a good try. I've never like counted my plant points even for a whole day, so I need to try that.
You should do it.
See what I get. Yeah,
we could do it together.
We could.
We have a little contest here. Get the people involved over on Discord. Anne Marie says that she had over 50 to 60. She was surprised since I make meals that I have for 3 or 4 days because I am the only plant person in my house. Bianca had an experience closer to what I had, which is I did the tracker too, and getting the last 5 or so was harder. I also cook big portions of meals and eat leftovers.
Nice to have Bianca here with us on an early show.
It is
because she only comes Friday.
That's right.
Good. Okay. I somehow always lose the tabs now. I've lost the YouTube, so I can't see the comments.
Well, I just read them, so we're good.
Okay, good. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap up. It's been an hour then, so that's too long, really. So that is it. Thanks everyone for joining us in this early time slot. Tomorrow we'll be back 11 a.m. Eastern time, normal time for the show. In the meantime, check out our Discord. It's nomadathlete.com/Discord. Lots of goings on there. After hours conversation about the same topics from people. So get over there and check it out.
Hey, how was my? I told
I had
everybody.
0 problems. Right.
All right.
Yeah.
I upgraded
you
to
upgraded, right?
faster speed. Yep.
What's the name of that upgraded service? Have some like super super name?
No. I think it's just like Internet Plus or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Well, I'm glad
Yep.
you have that. You can send the company an invoice for each month's increased amount.
Oh, I will. Trust me.
All right, good. Well, it was actually fine. I had never once did it cut out. So
Good.
I think that's a good thing. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. We will see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye, everyone.
And Doug, I need you to end the show because I don't know where the tab is.
Okay. All right. See ya.
Bye.